Welcome back, everyone. We're about to embark on another deep dive. Today's topic is nuts and seeds. And our insights are going to be coming from a pretty interesting company called Masala Monk. They're doing some really fascinating stuff with healthy eating.
I'm definitely looking forward to this one. More than just, the usual nuts and seeds are good for you.
Right. So let's get into it. This idea that nuts and seeds can help with weight management. It's not super intuitive at first glance, is it?
I think that's a really common misconception. People kind of get stuck on just the calorie count, right?
Yeah, and nuts and seeds, they are pretty calorie dense.
They are, but it's about more than just that number. It's about how those calories actually work in our bodies. Nuts and seeds, they have this amazing combo of protein and fiber and also healthy fats that all kind of work together to make you feel full. And that's really important.
So it's about feeling satisfied, not just counting calories.
Exactly. And that feeling full part is huge for preventing overeating. Think about those mid-afternoon cravings, right? You're much less likely to reach for, say, a bag of chips if you had a handful of almonds earlier.
Absolutely. A handful of almonds is so much more satisfying than a bag of chips, even if the calorie count is similar. Speaking of almonds, let's talk protein. I'll be honest, I hadn't really thought of nuts and seeds as big sources of protein.
Oh, it's definitely something people overlook. Many nuts and seeds are packed with protein. Like, did you know a serving of peanuts can have almost 8 grams of protein? And then hemp seeds, those have over 9 grams per serving. Even almonds have around 6.
Wow, those are some impressive numbers, and I bet that's especially good news for people who are following plant-based diets.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just the amount of protein either, it's the quality. Hemp seeds, for example, are what we call a complete protein. That means they've got all 9 of those essential amino acids that our bodies can't make on their own.
I see. So it's kind of a plant-based protein all-star. Okay, so we've got protein, we've got fiber, we've got healthy fats. It really does seem like nuts and seeds are kind of the ultimate nutritional package. Speaking of healthy fats, what about omega-3s? I tend to think of those as coming from fish, like salmon. But the Masala Monk material was talking about nuts and seeds as plant-based sources.
Yeah, that's right. Omega-3 fatty acids are so crucial, for your heart health, for brain function, for fighting inflammation. And while fish is definitely a well-known source, certain nuts and seeds can actually provide a really good plant-based alternative.
Interesting. So which ones are we talking about here?
Well, walnuts, chia seeds, and flax seeds are the superstars when it comes to omega-3. So you could actually be boosting both your heart and your brain health just by snacking on a handful of walnuts. Pretty cool, huh?
That is pretty cool. I'm really starting to see these little snacks in a whole new light.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not just good for our physical health either, right? What about antioxidants?
Oh, yeah. Antioxidants are essential. Think of them like your body's personal defense system. They protect your cells from the damage caused by free radicals, which are these unstable molecules that can lead to aging and all sorts of diseases. Nuts and seeds are just loaded with a whole bunch of different antioxidants.
So it's like they're little warriors fighting off those cellular bad guys.
Exactly. And each kind of nut or seed has its own special mix of antioxidants, which is why it's so good to eat a variety.
I love that. Each one has its own unique superpower. So which ones are the top contenders in the antioxidant arena?
Well, sunflower seeds are a fantastic source of vitamin E, which is known for protecting your skin and boosting your immune system. Then you've got walnuts, which are packed with polyphenols, particularly ellagic acid. That one has been linked to anti-cancer effects. And let's not forget Brazil nuts. They're incredibly high in selenium, which is a super powerful antioxidant that's crucial for thyroid health.
Wow, it's like we're getting a delicious snack and an army of antioxidants all in one. So we've got almonds and peanuts. Those are kind of the usual suspects. What about some of the less common options? Masala Monk mentioned hemp seeds, but what else is out there?
Oh, there's a whole world of exciting nuts and seeds to discover. Brazil nuts, for example, they're not just delicious, they're the undisputed champion when it comes to selenium content. Just 1 or 2 a day can provide your body with all the selenium it needs. And then there are pumpkin seeds. Those are often overlooked, but they're packed with magnesium, which is super important for, muscle function, sleep, and stress management.
Okay, I'm definitely adding pumpkin seeds to my shopping list. Now, I came across something interesting in the Masala Monk material. They were talking about soaking nuts and seeds. Is that something we really need to be doing?
It's actually a pretty cool technique that can make a big difference in how much nutrition you get from your nuts and seeds. You see, they naturally contain these compounds, like phytic acid, which can bind to minerals and make them harder for our bodies to absorb.
So it's like they're holding on to some of those good nutrients.
Right. But soaking helps to break those bonds, making the nutrients more available to us when we digest them.
So it's like unlocking even more of their nutritional potential.
Exactly. And it's really simple. You just soak them in water for a few hours, or even overnight, depending on what kind you're using. Then you drain them and rinse them well before eating.
Okay, I'm definitely going to try that. Soaking it is. Now, what about roasting? I love the flavor of roasted nuts, but is it true that roasting destroys some of the nutrients?
That's a common concern, and there is some truth to it. Roasting, especially at high temperatures, can affect certain nutrients, like vitamin E. But there are ways to minimize the loss. The key is to roast at a lower temperature, around 300 degrees Fahrenheit or less, and keep a close eye on them so they don't burn.
So low and slow is the key.
Got it.
So we've debunked myths about calories, explored protein and antioxidants, talked about omega-3s, and even gotten into soaking and roasting. Where do we go from here in our deep dive?
Let's dive into some specific varieties. We'll uncover what makes each one special, from the heart-healthy fats of walnuts to those magnesium-rich pumpkin seeds we talked about. Plus, we'll explore all sorts of creative ways to incorporate nuts and seeds into your meals.
I'm excited to hear more. I'm ready to level up my nut and seed game.
Let's do it. We were just talking about how many nutrients are packed into nuts and seeds.
It's mind-blowing, right? These 20 little things are like nutritional powerhouses.
They really are. And since we were just talking about selenium, let's stick with Brazil nuts for a minute. They're actually a really interesting example of how connected our food system is to the environment.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So Brazil nuts, they can only be harvested from these wild trees in the Amazon rainforest. And these trees, they depend on a whole web of ecological interactions to survive, like specific pollinators, like these orchid bees, and then certain animals, like these big rodents called agoutis, that help to disperse the seeds.
Wow, so the Brazil nuts we eat are directly connected to the health of the Amazon rainforest.
Exactly. It really highlights how our photo choices can have a ripple effect. Choosing sustainably harvested Brazil nuts, it's not just about our own health, it's about supporting the whole ecosystem.
It's like a chain reaction of goodness. Okay, let's move on to another fascinating nut, the walnut. I've always thought it was interesting how its shape kind of resembles the human brain.
Right. And there's actually a reason for that. Walnuts are known for being brain food. And it's not just an old wives' tale. They're packed with this type of omega-3 fatty acid called ALA, which our bodies convert into EPA and DHA. Those are crucial for brain development and function.
So snacking on walnuts could actually be giving our brains a boost.
It's like a little mental workout. Studies have shown that eating walnuts can actually improve cognitive function, memory, and even mood. And it's not just the omega-3s either. Walnuts are full of antioxidants, particularly this one called ellagic acid, which has been shown to protect brain cells from damage.
Wow, they're like little brain-protecting superheroes. Okay, let's talk about another popular seed, chia seeds. They seem to be everywhere these days. What makes them so special?
Chia seeds have a pretty cool history. They were a staple food for the Aztecs and Mayans, and they were known for providing sustained energy. They were like the ancient energy bars for warriors and runners.
I can see why. They're packed with fiber and protein. That would definitely keep you going.
Right. And they're incredibly versatile. You can add them to smoothies, make chia seed pudding, sprinkle them on salads. Their ability to absorb liquid and form a gel is what makes them so adaptable.
I love chia seed pudding. It's so simple and satisfying. What about flax seeds? Those are another popular choice.
Flax seeds are like nutritional chameleons. They can do so much, but the key is to grind them. Flax seeds are full of omega-3s, fiber, and these plant compounds called lignans, which are great for fighting inflammation. But to really unlock all that goodness, you got to grind them up.
So grinding helps us absorb more of the nutrients.
Exactly. Their outer hull is tough to break down, but grinding takes care of that. Okay, let's venture beyond the familiar now. What are some of the less common nuts and seeds we should be exploring?
I'm all ears.
Well, we've touched on hemp seeds already. Those are a nutritional powerhouse. Complete protein, good balance of omega-3s and omega-6s, fiber, magnesium, iron. They've got it all.
Sounds like a winner. Any other hidden gems?
Pumpkin seeds are another one that people often overlook. They're a fantastic source of magnesium, which we talked about earlier, and they're also full of zinc, which is great for your immune system.
I'm noticing a pattern here. Magnesium for stress in pumpkin seeds, selenium for thyroid health in Brazil nuts. It's like each nut and seed has its own special talent.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to mix it up and include a variety of them in your diet. Okay, let's talk about some creative ways to use nuts and seeds. We've talked about smoothies, salads, baked goods. What else can we do?
Yeah, I'm always looking for new ideas.
Well, how about making your own nut butters? Just blend roasted nuts until they're smooth and creamy. You can use them for dips, spreads, or even add them to sauces. And you can use nuts and seeds to make delicious crusts for chicken or fish.
Oh, a pecan-crusted salmon. That sounds amazing.
Right. And don't forget about sauces and dressings. Cashew cream sauce is one of my favorites. It's so rich and creamy, perfect for pasta, veggies, even soups. And for a nutty dressing, try blending tahini with lemon juice, garlic, and herbs.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. So we've covered a lot. Is there anything else we should know about getting the most out of our nuts and seeds?
One important thing is proper storage. Nuts and seeds are high in fats, which can go rancid if they're not stored properly. To keep them fresh, store them in airtight containers in a cool, dark place. You can even keep them in the fridge or freezer to extend their shelf life.
Airtight, cool, dark. Got it. Any other storage tips?
With flax seeds and chia seeds, it's best to grind them right before you use them. This helps preserve those delicate omega-3s, which can be damaged by light and air.
Okay, grind them fresh. Check. Now, before we move on, are there any common myths or misconceptions about nuts and seeds that we should address?
One of the biggest ones is that nuts and seeds are fattening. Yes, they're calorie dense, but the fats they contain are mostly unsaturated fats, which are good for you. In fact, those healthy fats can actually help with weight management by making you feel full and satisfied.
So it's not the fat itself, but the type of fat that matters.
Exactly. And another misconception is that nuts and seeds are only for snacking. As we've been discussing, they're so versatile and can be incorporated into meals in so many ways. Don't be afraid to get creative in the kitchen.
Right, they're not just for trail mix anymore.
Mm.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. Nuts and seeds are clearly more than just tasty snacks. They're nutritional powerhouses with fascinating connections to the environment and our health.
They really are. And now it's time to shift our focus to sustainability. What are some things to consider when it comes to the environmental impact of nut and seed production?
That's a great question. I'm ready to learn more about how to make sustainable choices.
Let's dive in.
Wow, we've really explored a lot in our deep dive into nuts and seeds.
We have, from their nutritional benefits to their impact on the environment, and even a bit of history thrown in there.
I feel like I've learned so much. But now, how do we put all of this knowledge into practice?
Right. Let's talk about that. One of the biggest takeaways is that nuts and seeds are so much more than just snacks.
We've touched on that, yeah. Adding them to smoothies, salads, baked goods.
Exactly, but we can go even further. One tip I love is to think outside the typical sweet and savory categories.
What do you mean?
Well, we often associate nuts with like desserts or trail mix, right? And then seeds with savory dishes like salads.
I guess so, yeah. It's kind of automatic.
But when you break free from those categories, so many more possibilities open up.
Okay, I like where this is going. Give me some examples.
Imagine a butternut squash soup, so creamy and delicious. Now top it with some toasted pumpkin seeds. Adds a nice crunch and a little nutty flavor. Ooh, that sounds incredible.
Or how about a salad with some roasted chickpeas, chopped dates, and toasted almonds? You get this amazing combination of textures and flavors, sweet and savory all at once.
My mouth is watering. I love those ideas. They're not the usual ways I think about using nuts and seeds.
That's the point. And don't forget about breakfast. There's so much you can do beyond just sprinkling some nuts on your oatmeal.
Right. What else can we do?
Try adding chia seeds to your yogurt and letting it sit overnight. You get this delicious chia seed pudding. Or blend some cashews into your smoothie. Extra protein, and mix it super creamy.
I'm writing all of this down. It's amazing how such small changes can make a big difference in both flavor and nutrition.
Speaking of nutrition, let's do a quick recap of the key things to remember about maximizing those benefits.
Okay, fire away. What's at the top of the list?
Variety, variety, variety. Every type of nut and seed has its own unique nutritional profile, so try to eat a wide range.
Don't just stick to one favorite, branch out a little. Exactly. And don't forget about portion control. Nuts and seeds are packed with healthy fats, but they are calorie dense.
So a small handful is usually enough.
Right. And go for raw, unsalted varieties whenever you can. Less sodium and more nutrients that way.
Makes sense. And we learned about storing them properly to prevent them from going rancid.
Yes. Airtight container, cool, dark place. And grind those flax seeds and chia seeds fresh right before you use them.
Got it. And then there was the soaking technique. That was a new one for me.
It's a game changer. Soaking helps reduce the phytic acid and makes those nutrients more readily available to your body.
It's like unlocking a secret level of nutrition.
Exactly. And last but not least, we can't forget about sustainability. Choosing locally grown nuts and seeds whenever possible and looking for those organic and fair trade certifications.
It's all about making those conscious choices for both our health and the health of the planet.
I know we've covered a lot of information and it might feel a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I can see how someone might feel like, where do I even start?
The key is to start small. Don't try to do everything at once. Just pick one or two things to focus on this week. Maybe you try soaking your almonds for the first time, or swap out your usual afternoon snack for a handful of Brazil nuts.
Or experiment with that cashew cream sauce. The possibilities are endless.
Exactly. It's about making small, sustainable changes that you can stick with and enjoy.
And as we wrap up our deep dive, I think the biggest takeaway for me is the importance of really savoring the experience. Pay attention to the textures, the flavors, the aromas. Really appreciate the diversity and richness that nuts and seeds bring to our table.
I love that. It's about nourishing our bodies and our senses.
Well said.
Mhm.
And with that, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of nuts and seeds.
We have. I hope you've enjoyed the journey and feel inspired to incorporate these amazing foods into your life.
I know I have. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, happy snacking.